Musicians' Viewpoints. This podcast is by and for local musicians in all localities. I'm your host, Kevin Ronco. Hey, welcome to Musicians' Viewpoints. And on this episode, we have Dave Plaen and Jeff Hino. And they have a band together. I saw them just a few weeks ago here at Old World Center in Corvallis. They were great. I had a great time, and so I got to meet Jeff as a result of that. And so this podcast starts out with Dave and I talking at first, and then Jeff comes in a little bit later into the conversation, and we talk all about local music scene. We vent about it. We talk about what's positive. We talk about what's negative. And we get right into the nitty-gritty of it all. It's a pretty good interview. I think it's a great interview, actually. And I hope you stick around and listen to the whole thing, because there'll be a tune at the end. It's the one written by Dave Plaen, and it's pretty damn awesome. Enjoy. Hey, this is Musicians' Viewpoints, and today I have Dave Plaen here. He's a wonderful musician, local musician, and honored to have him on the podcast. And so how are you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks, Kevin.
Cool. I saw you guys the other night at the Old World Center, Old World Deli. I thought it was a great show. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, good time. Yeah, I'm trying to be better about supporting local music in my however I can, being someone who's benefited from it in my time. And it's
yeah, great. Yeah, it's I hope it doesn't die.
I know. Well, it kind of did. The pandemic basically.
Yeah.
That was a weird. Everything. All the years of doing it, and then all of a sudden, I kind of had taken it all for granted. Then all of a sudden, when you don't have it, you're thinking, "What in the world has happened?" So
yeah,
anyway,
I think we only had, I think, 3 gigs last year, right at the end of the year, and then things are picking up this year. But so
same here. Yeah, I mean, a friend of mine who's high, kind of got all the degrees and stuff in music. That I don't have, although I have credentials. But anyway, he, we were talking about how many gigs we had, during the pandemic, and I was realizing that it was about the same. I had a few, he had a few, but it was just like there wasn't really much for anybody, So, I appreciated the ones I had, but it was odd. Yeah. So, with that in mind, what could we do to improve local music? What do you think? Is there anything we could do?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I myself have been kind of migrating towards the studio, and have been putting less energy into playing live.
Yeah, I hear that.
There's some new outdoor venues that help. Oh, we got Jeff here.
Oh, here's Jeff Hino. He just is it Hino or Hino? How do you?
Hino.
Hino.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, I'm really sorry. I got myself in a pinch point with a motorcycle repair, and then I took off in a hurry and left my phone behind, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
How's the audio? Is my audio okay? I was going to put on some earbuds.
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, well, again, I apologize, and
no worries.
This is not live, right?
Yeah, we're recording already, so
okay. Hi, everybody.
Okay. Hi. We're on the air, live and direct. Yeah, so we were just talking about what couldn't we do to, what are we doing to make the local music scene, thrive for ourselves and for people,
Yeah, well, I don't know if Dave's given his perspective, but I'd say first off, things are getting better after a long, dry period of venue owners not participating in live music very much or not willing to pay for it, and things got pretty rough there in the early 2014, 15, around there. We struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Because we have pride and we don't play for peanuts. We're professionals, and the pay that was being offered often was like, a warm beer and a cold fish sandwich.
Yeah.
And we really ran out of venues for a while in Corvallis, Albany area because of a number of things. We actually, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, wrote open letter to the Corvallis Advocate, and we had about 50 musicians sign it, where we laid out our concerns about the state of live music in this region and pointed to a number of factors, including pointing at ourselves for musicians who will take jobs for that fish sandwich. And as a result, the venue owners just start to think that they don't have to, pay a professional band. Lots of other factors too that we pointed out, including, of course, the digital avalanche of free music that people have. The problem they have with paying any kind of cover charge. They're walking down the street. They'll say they go to a restaurant that says $5 cover. They go, I don't know. And then they go home and spend, $7.50 on a Netflix film. So there was a problem with consumers, and there was also the ASCAP BMI folks that with their wingtip shoes and
I remember
spats walking around slamming people with BMI ASCAP fees every year. And again, the venue owners kind of took the low road and said, well, I don't want to pay $1,500. And then I did the math and it was like, if you sell one beer a day and set that aside, you'll pay off your BMI ASCAP fund fees. No problem. But again, there was just this, I think, ambiance of, music is cheap. I can get it anywhere. And we're not going to support live music. But, having said all that, I'll just say I think it's gotten better, as I mentioned at the start. The venues are opening up. Everybody's anxious to get out, and things are starting to happen. So, hope it continues to grow.
Well, I mean, I struggle with the things you're talking about. What gigs do you accept? What ones do you not accept? Because you do want to play out, and if you say no to everything, then you're not out there, So,
exposure,
right.
And you also, especially for new bands, it's a kind of a catch-22. If you don't have a following, then it's hard to and you play a club and not many people show up. You might be pretty good, but the club is thinking, well, we didn't make any money off this. So it's and another thing concerning what Jeff just said, at that time, years ago, there seemed to be somewhat of a conspiracy among some of the club owners to put a lid on what they pay the bands.
No, I've heard this. Yeah, before I moved here. Because my understanding is because HP is here and a lot of musicians worked at HP, then there was this like wink, wink, nod, nod that musicians don't really need to get paid.
Right. Yeah. And we've had things like we got a call one time for a New Year's Eve gig, and then the bar owner told me that, well, he was also calling another band to see which one was cheapest. So we didn't.
Wow.
After I heard that, I said no thanks.
Yeah. No, and New Year's Eve, you
Also,
want to get paid if you're going to be out. Yeah.
I have to say this to the HP thing. There were a lot of HP engineer garage bands, and to them, they didn't, getting paid wasn't important because they were making six figures at HP.
Right.
And so they wanted to play. And so those kinds of bands were, I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying that they were quick to take anything at any price.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but what they've done is they've ruined the economics of the possibility of being a musician, really. So, yeah. I guess before I moved here, I was studying because I guess I'm moving to Corvallis, Oregon. And I was looking on Craigslist and I'm thinking, doesn't seem like there's much of anything happening there. So I guess I'm going to be retiring as a musician when I move there, which is now having lived there more than 10 years. I'm like, I'm still alive. I want to do things.
Part of the history of Corvallis and live music is really has a lot of high points. When I actually moved here, I'm really showing my age. I moved here in '76 because the music scene was so great, especially in the music I was interested in, which was bluegrass, old time, acoustic. The word Americana hadn't been invented yet, but the place was just hopping with bands. And I moved down here to join a band from Portland. And there were so many venues that are long gone that we were playing at and getting like $300 for a band in $1977. The scene was really very good back then. And so it has the capacity to support a lot of live music.
Yeah, my understanding is like that place downtown, the Peacock, used to be a hopping place for music, and they have, great setup, but they have no interest in it now, and they haven't since I've lived here.
Right, they have a DJ thing upstairs, but it used to be a lot of blues acts would come there from Portland and other and big name people as well. Yeah, it's too bad. It was a great venue.
Yeah, they went for the lower hanging fruit, which is the millennial whatever crowds who go upstairs to the disco, and they just drink a lot of cheap beer, and that satisfies their financial bottom line. So yeah, it's unfortunate. They have the best dance floor probably in town up there at the top of the Cock.
Yeah.
Of course,
I don't know if I can say that on the radio.
You just did.
Okay.
It changed ownership after Tommy died. So that was, different owners have different perspectives.
Yeah. And that's fine. I think this what's more disappointing than a specific place. It's just a general mentality of just letting something go away, which is what's happened, I feel like. But I do think that the Old World Center, you guys played there. It had a great show. I enjoyed it.
I'd say that, Waylon, the owner, is got so much going for him and for the community with his support of music. I know he's probably taking it in the shorts here this first couple of years, but he's invested a lot in making the Old World Deli a prime music venue with a really excellent sound system. As you know, the stage was rebuilt. They put tons of sand under it to create the proper acoustic bass.
Oh, wow.
Acoustic engineering, tiles and curtains up to assist in sound so it doesn't bounce around all that brick. So yeah, big shout out to Waylon Pickett for what he's doing out there with the Old World Deli.
Yeah, it changes the dynamics in town for local musicians. There's that, and then there's what is it? Common Fields.
Yeah,
that's a
right.
cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's that one in North Albany or in
Oh,
Oh,
the barn. Yeah,
yeah.
I played there the other night. Yeah.
It's funny there. I was there last night watching the Bush Pilots with
Oh,
my
great
good friend,
band. Yeah.
yeah, Pete Kozak, etc. And one thing I noticed about the place is that it uh, about 75% of the people are overeating and they're not paying attention. But hey,
Right.
you know, I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man. It's just that venue type is mixed because you'll have maybe 20, 30 people that are actually attending to the music.
Right.
But okay.
Yeah, I mean, not every venue is going to be a crowd that is all about the music and nothing else. Yeah, it is more about the experience there of all the food carts and the beer selection's good, and so people get
Well,
distracted.
something
That's
else.
fine.
Yeah, something else. Following up on what Dave said is that the sometimes the venue owners get the mistaken idea that it's up to the band to attract people to their venue. That's all our responsibility. And if you have a low attendance night, it's the band's fault. And that is bullshit. I'm sorry, but it's it's the venue has a lot of stuff they have to do. They have to create an atmosphere. They have to have good food. They have to have good service, good adult beverages, if that's the place they are. They have to create a space that people want to come to as well. It's not the band shows up and therefore all these people show up.
Right.
We're part of the equation, but we're not the only thing.
Right. No, I mean, people might like the band, but the place stinks, and they're like, well, when you play somewhere cooler, let me know. But I don't like that place.
Yeah.
So that's a true thing. But yeah, no, the barn is cool. I would go there, just to hang out myself, So that's why I agreed to play there. I have another gig there in September, I think, with the Burdens.
What's the name of your band?
Well, I play in 3 groups. The group that's playing at the barn this summer is the Burdens. Features Alan Studley on harmonica and vocals, and Paul DeBali on guitar, who's an amazing guitarist. So it's always a treat to get to do these things.
The Burdens, like Rick Burden?
The Burdens, well, we don't want to be a burden, or also bring us your burdens. That's kind of the so that's the one. And
I'll watch for you down there, the Burdens.
Yeah. And then I have a jazz group. We're playing at Sweet Cheeks Winery in Eugene in October. So got lucky to get that gig. So
well, another thing that's really opened up, but you gotta move fast, is getting into the winery circuit.
Yeah. Yep.
And we made a foray this year. We as I'm sure Dave mentioned, kind of been on hiatus because of COVID and other things. But the winery scene has really blossomed over the last decade, and you just have to get in there soon, because I think what they do is they sit down in December with their calendar in front of them and say, okay, who's applied to play? Okay, this, get the Burdens, and then that's it. And we're done.
Right.
So if you're not there at that point in time, it's tough for you to get on the radar.
Yeah. Well, that's what killed my jazz group. I'd have more going, but we lost our sax player. I don't want to go into band member things, but it didn't work out. And so it held us up on reaching out to clubs until later. So I basically got the cancellations and we'll book you, but we'll be at the very end of the season kind of stuff. So but hey, like you're saying, this is a really tough market anyway. So just to get anything I think it's oversaturated, is what I see.
There are places opening up now. Lebanon has a club. Somebody, the Bush Pilots are playing there.
Oh,
I can't remember the name, but it's a relatively new
Timber something or other.
Yeah, timber something or other, something with timber in it.
Yeah, I
So
had a
that's
lead on that, but it didn't pan out. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know what if maybe Dave knows if Corvallis is still doing any kind of live music for Fourth of July and other things.
They're still doing the red, white, and blues and the
All
fall
right.
festival.
Okay. Are you guys doing any of those 4th of July things?
No, no. Apparently another guy I know tried to get in, but it was too late.
Yeah, that's been my luck this year too. Just
They book earlier, like Jeff was saying about the wineries.
I
Same
don't
way
know. Yeah.
fall festival.
Which just goes to show. I mean, that falls on us too. Is we're not just musicians. We have to be, business savvy and
Right.
get into digital marketing and get your EPKs out there and do all the social media and just be everywhere you can online. So that's in our court. We have to do that if you want to be seen and heard.
Yeah. It reminds me of an interview I was listening to with Prince when he was alive. He was talking about how much is put on the musician, like that what so people expect from musicians. Like we're supposed to be the ones who are always out there and always giving to community and this kind of thing. But yet the giving back to the musician has been declining. It's like, the $50 you made back in the 1980s for a gig was, I mean, that seemed like a pretty good amount of money then, but now it's, you might make $50 at a gig, but then you go in the grocery store and realize that you bought, enough to maybe make a salad out of that. I mean, it's just, it's just not the same kind of thing anymore,
Yeah. Yeah, it should be, I would think that there should be a minimum like 100 a person when you play a gig, but that's hard to find.
Yeah, it is. It's nice work when you get it, when you can get it. That's what I was saying the other night. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those out there listening who have a lot of experience as well, know that the choice gigs are going to be private parties, with playing weddings and other social events that are private, because then you can go to your rate sheet and go way up in the spreadsheet to the higher numbers.
Yeah.
Because I'll give my daughter anything for a good wedding. Oh, the band wants $800? No problem. I'll pay them $200 to play another song after they finish.
I was hearing though that weddings for bands is going out of style because it's not. My understanding is the band makes it all about themselves, and that's what's not going over with the wedding thing these days.
Those wedding planners are out to get us.
Right.
Yeah, well, everybody's walking, like my neighbor's getting married, and I offered up, trying to help him find a band, and not I wasn't pushing on my own band with Dave, but he said, no, everybody has a phone. We're going to plug in a Bluetooth speaker and people can just be their own DJs. Everybody gets a shot at playing something. Yeah, it takes, it takes a different turn then.
Yeah, a lot of people hire DJs these days.
They make a lot of money.
Right.
How much does a DJ make, Dave?
I don't know. I'm not one.
Probably $300 for one person.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to? I'm afraid of sounding like some grumpy old fart, talking about how bad it is. Do you want to switch over to more about upbeat and what we're doing and music play and
because I think kind of I mean, it's good to talk about how we lived through this pandemic and things are opening back up, and that's all good. And I think it's important to realize, just let people know, like, it's not all peaches and cream. We look like we're having fun up there and stuff, and we are, but it takes a lot of work to do this stuff. But yeah, so but we do love it. It's a labor of love, and that's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
what are you guys doing?
Well, we've been around for more than 30 years. Dave probably mentioned, I think we did too. Uh, we started when we were just little kids, and Dave and I, and
So
so
during recess, we would play, and
Oh, really?
yeah,
yeah,
under the jungle gym bars, I'd
yeah,
pull out the
right,
national steel,
yeah.
and 8-year-old Dave would start playing blues harp. But actually, it's funny. We, we ran into each other through Dave's writing music. He's a very good composer, lyric writer, and I don't know if you should talk about that. But I was running a festival, one of the many that we used to have with live music, and Dave's band. I forgot who was with you, Dave. He was another songwriter. This is in the 80s,
Yeah,
the late 80s.
Tom Newman.
Tom Newman. He was a fellow songwriter,
Yeah,
right?
right, and also from the Midwest.
Aha, which is important,
Right.
Yeah.
So Dave was up there with Mr. Newman, and they had a band that was, you guys were using, you had a little Mac computer, the original Macintosh, up center stage, and because you guys were doing stuff with digital pretty early.
Yeah, it was a MIDI type band, so a lot of the music was programmed already.
Oh,
And
cool.
Yeah,
so Tom was a guitar player, I was a harp player, and then we had two women singers, and one did uh, played congas.
yeah,
So
you were really good, but unfortunately the Mac went down.
yeah,
Remember
right.
that?
Yes, it was.
You had that
So
little frown.
I ended up,
The little.
I ended up
Go ahead.
doing a bunch of field hollers.
And that's what got me. I'm back there by the sound man, and all of a sudden, the Mac has got the sad face on it, and you just stepped up and started belting out field hollers, and I go, "Whoa, this guy is great!" And sort of that was the first real introduction. I don't know how we ended up playing together, but that was when I realized, what a treasure we had with Dave back then.
Well, we started playing in a children's band.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is pretty funny. Yeah, we were in a band for Jory Aronson. She is very talented children's music composer and musician, and she somehow got us in the band. And we were the String Beans. Remember that, Dave?
Yes, Jory and the String Beans.
Jory and the String Beans, and we thought, okay, this is kind of fun. We'd play out in public, and the kids would be running all over the place. But it slowly got really bizarre. Eventually, we went up to Seattle Folklife to play for her at one event that was for kids, and she said, "Oh, and I have something I need to have you do." And she brought out these giant bean hats that look like half moons over your head, like a green bean thing coming over your head. And there, Dave and I are in this room full of screaming kids wearing our bean hats, marching around a circle. And Dave and I look at each other and say, "We got to get out of this place." So we said goodbye to our first real breakthrough children's music.
Yeah.
Huh.
We could have been rich, Jeff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So after that, though, then we started saying, well, let's play some acoustic blues. And I didn't really have the proper instrumentation. I was, wanting to play slide guitar, and I had a dobro, and that's not really the right sound. And slowly, over the next few years, we started playing out and getting our act together, basically as a duo, entirely as a duo at that time, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So that was really our bread and butter, and we got to be really popular. We played a lot back then as a duo.
Yeah, we were playing about once a week on average, and we did the Northwest Folklife Festival for quite a few years. and kind of moved up on the stages there in terms of the visibility. So one of the events we did was a radio show for the Folklife Festival.
That's when I said to the audience, "You won't be able to see this, but Dave's wearing his gold lame outfit."
And Jeff is not wearing anything at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we started building a good following and played up in Portland. We had some gigs. It was tough though, playing a Portland gig. Like Dave, remember the time we went up and played the Green Room? We thought, okay,
Yeah.
break into the Portland scene, but it was like a Thursday night. We didn't even start till 9 in the evening.
Oh,
and
right.
we went to 1, and then we drove home. Didn't get home till 3, and then we had to get up and go to work 7 in the morning. So, we realized, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how Portland went for me from Corvallis. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that maybe 1.5 people in Corvallis are actually making their living from music. So yeah, it's always a trade-off with day jobs.
Yep.
But we don't have to worry about that anymore, right, Dave?
Right.
Oh yeah, you guys.
We've been playing so long, we're independently wealthy.
Yeah, the music we were selling in Belarus on Spotify.
Yeah.
How much money do we make from Belarus and other East
maybe
European?
10 cents. I can't remember. It's
Whoa! Yeah.
streaming pays.
Yeah. Well, that brings me back to the
So,
topic earlier about where things started to go south. I thought it was Napster that really, when that came into being, the mentality changed about music
Right.
and musicians getting paid, and sort of a downward spiral at that point.
Yeah, and that was a pain in the tush to use that, though. I remember it was these huge files. You had to download binary files or some crazy stuff. But we did it, trying to make it work. then it got so easy. Yeah, it's just push a button and tell them what you want to hear.
Yep.
Yeah. Our first album we did in 1996.
Oh, cool.
And I think I think we ordered 1,000 and we sold out eventually. Our second album was early 2000, and we still have hundreds of those.
And
Yeah.
Because the
500 cassettes. 500 cassettes.
Yeah, plus cassettes, yeah.
I have a box of CDs from Chuva Boa, one of my groups, just holding up my computer tower. Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, we'll get it if you have CDs. So we ordered the CDs, and then maybe 2 people actually bought the stupid things. So
Yeah, it's a whole nother business model problem, separate from live performance, and full of all kinds of misery and woe and expense and what do we really gain out of this feelings. And I don't know, who knows, we may do another CD, Dave, I don't know, or something, maybe.
Well, we did we released 2 during the pandemic.
Oh, that's right, tell them about that. I forgot about those.
Yeah. So we're getting some streaming on that, but hardly any sales. I mean, we've had a few sales for one of them, but for the CDs, I mean.
Yeah, well, the streaming model is terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of those was Dave found a DAT recording of one of our performances, live performance up in Seattle at the Folklife Festival in '97. So it actually sounded really good. It was reasonably good quality. And so that was a pretty esoteric project to release for the true Plaen and Hino fans to complete their discography. They got to have us live in 1997.
Yeah.
What is that album called? What's the name of it?
Live.
Yeah, what is it? Plaen and Hino live. Let's see. I don't know if I have it.
Live at the Folklife Festival, 2000 or 1997.
1997, yeah.
With
Cool.
where we played everything so fast.
We did. Our second album. Oh, here it is. Plaen and Hino, live at the 1997 Northwest Folklife Festival.
Cool.
What was the other CD we did? I've forgotten already, Dave.
Well, that was the Plaen Hino Blues Band. That was
Right. Yeah.
So that had 12 songs that we, but either duo or mostly band, but a couple that were just the two of us.
Yeah, that was a good album. We sold any of those?
We did. When it came out, a few people contacted me, but not too much.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm not sure how you want to work this, Kevin, but if Dave could speak a little bit to his songwriting, because he does a lot of stuff recording wise as well with his songwriting and arrangement. I think it might be interesting for people to hear a bit.
Yeah, I would like to hear that.
Well, yeah, I started writing back in the 70s and put out my first album on vinyl in 1981. And that album is called Smokin', and it's turned out to be sort of it gained a new life during the pandemic and slightly before. So I signed a deal with a Chicago record company and then another deal with a London label called BBE, which stands for Barely Breaking Even. So they might have one of my songs on a jazz compilation.
Cool.
But I haven't heard back yet. It was supposed to come out this year sometime, but they have the option not to use it.
Didn't you also have some interest from a television production company?
Yeah. Well, I had interest from a company in Arizona, and they offered me $500 a song for 6 songs, and they would get the rights not only to the songs or the publishing rights 50-50, but they would own the master recordings, and their main interest was what they call sync licensing, which is using music for film and TV. That's their bread and butter. But they wouldn't negotiate. I either had to sign the contract as it was or leave it. So I ended up leaving it.
But you're still writing, right?
Not too much. I still have songs that I haven't recorded that I wrote.
And you also recorded a lot of your sort of previous material. You had access to was it 1 or 2 inch tape from way back in Iowa, or?
Yeah, right. So I released before I moved out here. I was working on so I released 2 vinyl records. One was a long play and another one was an EP. And then I was working on a third that I didn't finish and moved out to Oregon. And then I ended up finishing that one. But that was on 16-track tape. So I ended up finding a place in New York that would transfer it to digital, and then had it done back in the studio the company that did it in Iowa recorded it.
So you had the Dave Plaen retrospective CD set, right, with your sketches and stuff like that. What was
Oh,
it?
yeah, those actually were 4-track cassette recordings mostly.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I did a lot of work in a studio that was just 4-track tape, reel to reel. So I had, I don't know, 50, 60 songs, demos, or more than that maybe. So I released 3 albums myself of that stuff, and then a while back I released a 2 CD set that included stuff I recorded in Madison, Wisconsin in like 1975 or 6. So anyway, yeah, I've got probably over approaching 150 songs out there that have been published.
That's
Cool.
nice. It's nice to have a
Yeah,
catalog that you can, you know.
And that
yeah.
I was going to say
Go
that
ahead.
one where you had the film industry interested is interesting also in regards to business models for musicians. It's great work if you can get it, and is something
Yep.
worth looking into. Is providing bed background music, and I've done that a number of times, and even hired Dave once to play a harmonica part to go along with a documentary film where I had some snowy plovers running around, little chicks in the beach, to show how sensitive they are to humans and dogs, and Dave's job was to play the harmonica while the little chicks ran around on the sand. He did a marvelous job doing plover.
Yeah,
But that, if you could find it, and I was a producer, so I hire myself or Dave or other people I know to do the music. So that's something to look into. I don't know the field well enough to say where people can go, but it's out there.
yeah. Speaking of those sketches and demos CDs, I had a woman from Paris contact me and wanted to buy the actual CDs. She asked me, "Do you have CDs of those, the first 2?" And I said, "Yeah." So she bought 2 CDs.
Like hundreds of
Cool.
them.
No, she just bought 2.
Oh,
But I was gonna say when I was talking about my album, my first album, I forgot to mention. So for some reason, a big playlist, now 2 big playlists on Spotify, have picked up one or more of the songs on that album, and so that kind of took off in terms of play. And then during the pandemic, for some reason, I started getting orders for my vinyl records, for my first vinyl records, Smoking. So I sold like over 350 albums in 1 year.
That's
well,
amazing.
that probably was due to the real rise in interest in kind of retro and the analog sound of LPs and EPs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Vinyl is actually coming back
It's
in
come
terms
back,
of,
yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting. I haven't had that much sales this year of that. Maybe, yeah, maybe just, well, actually, I can't remember. But I had,
Maybe we
go ahead.
maybe we get the cassettes to get back style. We got a lot of
Well,
those.
I hear they still like cassettes in India.
Do they?
Hey, and we did a video for India musicians, didn't we?
Did, yes.
Yeah, I had a cassette release back in the 90s, I remember. I think I ended up throwing away a bunch of those. I was like,
I
I
was
don't
trying.
need this many cassettes in my house of myself.
I was trying. I was trying to talk Dave. I was trying to talk David into bringing a box of cassettes to the Old World Deli and just frisbeeing them out to the crowd for free.
Yeah. Well, I did
I
bring a
may yet do that.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do with our Chuva Boa CDs. We've got so many now. We have a different project, and you know, no, I mean, who wants? I mean, I think I play 10 drum solos on the CD. So I mean, anyway,
so, I, so is that band Brazilian?
yeah, it was, yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah,
Had Laura Zara on harp, and it was,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
she's a good harp player. Yeah.
yeah, she's fabulous.
yeah, we got some good shows out of that. It was fun, yeah. But
Oh,
things change.
yeah. So I guess can we go back to the history and get us up to where we are now a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm very excited about the band again right now. It was tough with all those years. We all made it through, but not without licking some wounds and stuff. But uh, the old world deli gig we had, I thought was a real turning point for us because
mhm.
we had been doing the same material for so long. We'd add a song here and there, but it was getting kind of you know down pat too much. And so this last gig, we really dumped a lot of new stuff, and it was really well received on both sides of the stage. I mean, you know what it's like, Evan. If you have new stuff, you get excited. You
Right.
play different. You're finding new chops. You're sounding different, and the live audience just helps mold those into, great new material. So
Yeah.
we are really. I'm calling it the big reset of the band. I don't know if Dave will agree, but it's just we're doing this long enough, and we're really good at it, and we could do a lot of other stuff to expand on our rather unique musicianship that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I was impressed seeing you there. I thought it was, I mean, yeah, I thought it was a great outing. I mean, I was impressed by all the string instruments you play, Jeff.
Well, it's different than most bands and blues bands to not have necessarily always a big huge blues guitar, but instead have slide guitar as the main thing, and then the interplay between slide guitar and the blues harp is so magical that we
Yeah.
get a lot of mileage out of that, and we're exploring other ways that those can fit together uh, with other types of tunes, even things that Dave wrote. We're looking forward to trying to get more of his material. Is sometimes a little. It's his stuff isn't necessarily accessible to our musicianship because if you listen to Dave's songwriting, a lot of it is it's from a while ago. Different instruments, lots of keyboards. Jump in here, Dave, but it's not necessarily easy for our armada of instruments on stage to do this. So, hi, Dylan.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we have a lot of my stuff has a lot of vocals, a lot of background vocals and stuff like that, which Jeff, this in this incarnation of our band, it's just Jeff and I mostly, and sometimes the bass player. But
on vocals,
so
yeah.
we have to rearrange the song somewhat, which is okay.
So I think
Yeah.
we're going to rehearse today, and we've got another half dozen new songs and tunes to go over, and see if we can work them in, or what we'll find out. But it's exciting because, as we mentioned earlier, things are getting a little better for musicians, and I really think that we could be again what we were in the past, a force to be contended with, because we're just different. We're different than most blues bands. In fact, I'm pushing that we drop the word blues band from it and just be Plaen and Hino band, because we do a lot of stuff that is, maybe it has a toe in the blues waters, but they're moving some different directions.
Cool. Cool.
Well, Jeff has, like you say, Kevin, he can play a lot of instruments, and he often comes up with different takes on songs using banjo or ukulele, which is good because I don't always like to just do covers, or I like to if we're gonna do somebody else's song, let's add something different to it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Make it your own.
Yeah, that definitely does that. Like the ukulele is a lot of fun, and it's a goof to have it on stage, but it is a cool little reggae instrument.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another thing that's happening is, we've over the years added band members as we grew into, I don't know when we started doing that, Dave, but we started getting gigs where we had a rhythm section. And eventually even we had bands that had two female backup vocalists, a guitar player, maybe a horn player, I don't know, drums, bass, Dave. I mean, it was a full stage. And we would do big outdoor events. But we've settled into now really liking the quartet, although we always look forward to inviting guitar players to join us for gigs when we can afford it. And we've had Dennis Monroe up there with us a number of times. Creighton Lindsay played with us in the past. So anyway, we really evolved into a bigger sound.
Cool. That's exciting. Yeah. I mean, that's a similar story to one of the groups I work with, the Gusto Brothers, where they started out the two of them and then it expanded into a bigger ensemble.
Well, it's good to have a core that is tight. Like when Dave and I are in the pocket, it's really great. It's just we know it. It takes months of getting back sometimes if we've been away for a while.
Yeah.
Once we're back in that pocket, I think that gives us the kernel of a lot of things to happen.
Yeah, and you were definitely in the pocket the other night at the Old World Deli, I thought.
Man, we were having fun.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I haven't told Dave this. This is news to him, but I debuted a new electric guitar at that gig, and I've been playing acoustic guitar. I have a beautiful acoustic guitar. I have nothing bad to say about acoustic guitars, but it's a lot of work over the course of a night sometimes, even though the strings are set right and all that. But I just said, I used to play electric guitar, and I think it would help the band to have a different sound there on occasion. So I worked that in the other night, and that was a lot of fun. But my latest thing is, you might recall, I played a lot of the lap steel standing up. I had a table up there with this lap steels on it on stage, so I could stand up and play. Because often when I'm playing the lap steel, I'm sitting down on a little short chair, and I got my knees caps poking out at the audience, and Dave's towering about 4 feet over me while he's singing. And it's hard to, get excited when you're sitting down. And I like moving around. So standing up with those guitars made me think. So I said, well, hell, there's a way, and I've seen it, how to play other than National Steel. The National Steel I play standing up, but lap steel, electric. I found a solution, Dave. I bought this guitar. It's called the PV Power Slide. Your eyeballs are gonna pop out when you see this thing. It's designed to be played standing up. It's got a 3-way strap system that flips it up so it's Hawaiian style, where you can put the bar down on it. I'm not a bottleneck player, I'm a Hawaiian style player. So I play with the bar on top. And this guitar flips that way. And it's got a humbucker and a single coil in it. And it's just amazing.
Huh.
So I'm really looking forward to springing that out on our friends and neighbors.
Yeah, cool.
Wow. I think I saw a picture of that on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a crazy looking instrument because it has a big sort of gap where your belly goes,
That's cool. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. I think we'll be playing coming up here at the Lumos Winery. Is that what it's called? Lumos Vineyards? I forgot what they're Lumos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something. Lumos out in Willamette. Beautiful venue.
Oh, okay.
So pastoral. Really beautiful. Out under 3 towering live oak trees out on the lawn, and wonderful wine and food, and the the scenery just won't stop. You look everywhere, and all you see is green. You don't even see any sign of humans really, other than what's there. So yeah, that's coming up July 20th.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. So we'll be springing some of the stuff out there, I hope.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what is the name of your band, just for the audience?
Well, we're going by Plaen and Hino, right?
Yeah, Plaen and Hino
Okay.
band, or just Plaen and Hino. You know, it's people know our names well enough now to know, and that's what I'm thinking.
Cool. Yeah. Decades of great music in the Willamette Valley. Plaen and Hino. Don't miss them.
Thank you.
So is there anything else you guys wanted to share with our audience before we wrap this thing up?
Let's see. Yeah. Don't stop. If you're playing music, don't give up. Just keep doing it. Yeah, despite all the distractions and disappointments, my life would be miserable if I didn't have music in it. So
I feel the same way.
It's important for mental health for the musicians and for the listening public.
Yeah, and I find after this pandemic, I'm going through this period of relearning. Like, I can't assume that I knew anything before necessarily, and it's kind of an interesting phase of development where I'm being forced to practice like I maybe did when I first started, where I was kind of running on I guess fumes or something before the pandemic. I was just sort of on autopilot and just used to things being a certain way. So I find it exciting to have to force myself to relearn, rethink, try to play things differently than I did before. So for me, that's the exciting part of it.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I know that I had all these great plans for all this wonderful wood shedding I was going to do during lockdown, but I think Netflix got in the way.
Yeah, I just thought, what's the point? Why bother? So I was doing some, digital kind of composing and stuff like that, which was, I think, for mental health more than anything. But there's something about physical live music that we do need it, and I hope that people can have a second chance to appreciate it this time.
Yeah.
Yep. Support live music.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thanks to all those who do come out, support live music. Oh, and if you have a charitable event and you have the band, you find a band willing to play it because they believe in your cause, that's wonderful. But also then when that band plays again at some venue, hey, go support them, show up.
Yep. I agree. I'm trying to do more of that. That's why I did want to come out and see you guys a few weeks ago now. It's important to support something that is we would miss dearly if we lost it. So.
Yeah. Very good.
So check out Plaen and Hino. They'll be at the what is the winery again? Lumos?
Lumos.
Yeah. Okay.
July 20th.
July 20th.
It's in the evening, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's 6 p.m, kind of, assisted living hour concert.
Yeah.
We finished 8. Yeah.
They call it Sip and Sunset, I think is
yeah, it makes sense.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, you watch the sun go down, it'll be gorgeous.
Yeah.
With blues and other music wafting over you. Yeah. Unforgettable.
Great musicians, great wine. Don't miss it. On that note, hey, it's really great talking to you guys, and I'll see you guys around. We'll
likewise. Thanks for doing. Thanks for doing.
Absolutely.
For everybody who's been on it and will be on it, this is really wonderful. For this, I know it's a lot of work, so
absolutely, it'll help. So anyway, Cheers.
Yeah, now I got to get back. I got to put the tires back on this motorcycle.
Okay. Okay, I got work to do too, so we'll wrap it. Okay. Cheers.
And Dave, yeah, thanks a lot. Dave, I'll be there. I'm going to have to take off now, load the instruments and...
Yeah, wow, that was a great interview with Dave Plaen and Jeff Hino. And I leave you now with the song that was written by Dave Plaen, and they performed this together. I think it's wonderful. I hope you enjoy it. And please remember to support local music. It needs your support. We'll see you next time on Musicians Viewpoints. Once again, my name's Kevin Ronco.